Hello, everyone on Zoom. Welcome to, and hello, everyone here at the Riverhead Free Public Library. Welcome to Poetry Street. This is the room without a roof where every voice is heard, and we're so happy that you're here. We always start Poetry Street with a land welcome. New York City and Long Island has always been the gathering and trading places for many of the indigenous people. We acknowledge that we are guests here and are standing on the unceded lands of the Lenape, who are the original caretakers, also the Canarsie, the Shinnecock, the Montaukett, the Reckonwalk, the Mansay, and the Haudenosaunee. We acknowledge and respect the many indigenous people who live on this land and continue to make ongoing contributions. Catch my breath. I just walked from the No Kings rally at the Riverhead Courthouse, so I'm a little out of breath. So I'm going to introduce you to, or bring to the front, my co-host, the wonderful, beautiful, the talented, Emmy Award-winning Maggie Bloomfield.
Thank you, Chip. I'm so glad you made it. Welcome, everybody. First of all, I want to thank the library for hosting Poetry Street. To tell you a little bit about Poetry Street, it was started 12 years ago as part of the Jumpstart project at East End Arts. It was started by Susan Dingle and Bubby Brown, and a lot of you know Bubby Brown. He's Riverhead's favorite poet. He can't be with us today. And Susan has gone out to the Pacific Northwest and is speaking at a rally today, so she won't be here. But you guys are here, and we are so happy. And again, I want to thank Joanne White and the staff at the library, especially the technical staff, for helping us each month. Those of you who have been upstairs when we've done Poetry Street upstairs, they're renovating. We'll be down here for a while. This room is just fine. It works just fine. And hopefully we will get back upstairs because it's a little bit cozier. Okay. Anyway, we were at the Blue Duck Bakery in Riverhead for about 6 years, and then that bakery closed. We moved around a lot during COVID, and then we came here. The library agreed to host us and has become our home for Poetry Street, and we are eternally grateful. I'm going to introduce the features soon. But first, I want to tell you about the community poem. There is a jar over on that table. I hope you all signed in. In that jar, you will find some little sheets of paper and a prompt. I'm asking everybody to write one line and put it in the jar. And next month, I will read the poem that I put together from those one lines. And if you like, you can also add your email so we can stay in touch with you. Now, in order to hear your one line, you have to come back next month because that's the only way you'll hear it. And this is the Poetry Street community poem from February 26th. The key of C is the friendliest of all keys. If everyone held hands together, music, the middle C in the keyboard of my soul. We celebrate resilience, but never, never forget the struggle and pain. Our songs create peace. I rejoice in the ethereal strains of the angels. So this is the way today is going to go. Our features will read for about 12 minutes. We have 3 wonderful features today, and we will follow their readings with an open mic, which hopefully you have signed up for, everybody. We have some rules about the open mic. We ask that you read one poem, not the epic one that you've been working on for 10 years. One short poem, because the library has to close sometime. If you go over 3 minutes, a hook comes down from the ceiling and takes you away. Okay. But we love the open mic and we love having you all here. So I am going to introduce the features. As I said, they'll read for about 12 minutes, and at the end of the program, time permitting, they'll come back for one more poem at the end of the program. Our first feature today is somebody that Chip and I met at a poetry place further up island. And we've gotten to know him. He's a wonderful poet. His work is rooted in vulnerability, compassion, and a commitment to the oppressed. He's active in the open mic scene since
coming together. So stand up and speak out today.
2024.
You're not alone. Get out and vote. Vote the people out who are doing.
Hold on.
Got it.
Okay. He's been published in Fresh Words, Haiku Universe, Bard's Poetica, The Savings Ourself Anthology, Wildside Press, to be completely honest, and the Long Island Quarterly. He was a finalist in the 2025 Babylon Arts Council Poetry Contest. Please help me welcome Randy Fowler.
Oh, okay. So she needs to back to the room. Okay, you have this stuff. Oh, okay. Well, thank you, Chip and Maggie and everybody here at Poetry Street. I'm especially honored that this is Women's History Month and I get to be one of the speakers. All of my poems will be about women's issues. In January, I released 10 Instagram videos on these 10 poems. And this first poem is what started it all off. Shattered. The poet reads, smash, shards everywhere, in corners, under cabinets, embedded in the rug. Must clean up my room. I look around, pick up each piece, careful not to cut myself. How fast can I fix my window? The poet walks into my house through the gaping rectangle. She leads me by the hand to the open frame and points outside. Torrential rains drum, fierce winds blow, tree branches are breaking. A hurricane? I'm going to build a clear window to replace my one of dark glass. Poem. That was after a woman poet read a poem about rape. So, number 123, inspired by a true story. I receive a menu and study it. I've heard there are no better delicacies than in Southeast Asia. Looking up, I see the 10 girls it lists. sitting behind a glass wall. I choke back vomit. 9 look down with vacant stares, but you, number 123, you are the only one to stare at your abusers. Your fierce gaze seems to say, I am not a number. I am not a menu item. I am not a slave. My body is not a half-hour rental. I'm not invisible. I'm worth loving. I am a child of God. Despite heavy makeup, you still appear around my daughter's age, 14. I shudder, for unlike my daughter, you will never see your birthday parties, school graduation, nights out with friends, choice of a vocation, mother, father, extended family, and finally, a loving partner. As we exit, I ask the undercover police officers, will you press charges soon? No, not enough evidence to convict. Despite repeated efforts, I was never able to discover what happened to number 123. Speaking of numbers, 1.6 million children were sex trafficked last year in the world, 300,000 in America, and of all these, almost 1/3 had their family involved. Suffolk County is one of the worst in the country for human trafficking. February 6, 2025, ABC 7 New York report. Thank you. So based on this and supporting one of the girls that's in a foreign country, that's in one of these houses that helped them kind of, I don't know what the right word is, not reform, but recover. This is called the Master Sculptor. Michelangelo carved David from an abandoned marble block left weathered for 25 years after another artist gave up on it. He accepted the discarded stone, already seeing the figure within, and shaped it into a masterpiece. This is a quote from Wikipedia. Poem, The Master Sculptor. You notice flaws and stain. I see unfinished art. I am the master sculptor who molds and chisels your heart. Though some misjudge the marred, I see into your soul, beyond the marble block, to beauty only I know. You doubt your inherent worth, despair to find your dreams, believe your past repair, a sculpture unredeemed. Yet no defacement of walls, no damage done inside, transcends my sculpting skills to mend and sand and shine. I'm gentle with my tools, so let this maestro carve till one day I reveal a masterpiece unscarred. This poem was written in honor of single mothers abused. Shadow of spite. He struck a blow, I sow a seed and irrigate it fervently. Resentment blooms from sprout to tree, creating fruit on which I feed. Though was abused, I'd lose in court, his lawyer friends a lurking force. Must let him visit, now we're divorced. 2 kids to feed, too scared, too poor. My tree matures, apples display, but casts a shadow instead of shade. Collect my crop, review my fate, while savoring my harvest of hate. Spite's branches spread, eclipse the sun, its roots ensnare my limbs, I'm stunned. Restrained by wrongs that I've rerun, I mourn the darkness I've become. To free my kids from rot bestowed, I axe the trunk of scorn in my soul. Like seed to sapling, forgiveness is slow, but one day an oak of grace will grow. Now, sometimes things start at a very young age. My daughter was 19 a year ago, and a guy broke up with her and refused to have any kind of last conversation or anything. So I wrote this on her behalf, as if I'm her. Scratched vinyl. Why declare you love me when you shred my heart? Why batter me with critique that shoves me into shame? Why show me passion after you've stung my soul? Why hoard your affection like collecting rare records? I am the stylus on your scratched vinyl, skipping over the abrasions. Why do I keep trying to play on a lacerated LP? Now I'm a damaged needle, unable to create music. Oh, what songs we used to create, but no more tormented tunes. I'm leaving for the shop to be repaired and clean. I want to choose authentic albums to discover the groove on a new record that plays a harmonious melody. Oh. Now, these next two poems, while I stand up for women's rights, these two poems reflect where I'm the bad guy and I made a mistake. This one is dedicated to my daughter. Thank you for your accountability, called Still Waters. A wave of righteous rebuke crashes over me, a seismic sea of scorn as far as eyes can see. I'd slung a tsunami of wrath that slammed against my daughter, secluded to a cove, a father underwater. I strive to say I'm sorry. Another swell descends. I'm drowning in disgrace. The deep demands amends. Crawl up the rock of regret, but still the tide's too high. Scale further to remorse. Feel breakers crashing by. Climb the cliff repentance, attempting to merit trust. Let charity be her choice. I pray I've done enough. In time, the tide recedes. My daughter sends a raft. I'm floating on forgiveness, still waters of grace at last. Oh. This is another one where I met, where I blew it. I met a young girl that was much younger, like 8 years younger than me. And this is called The Arborist. Arborists are trained professionals specializing in the safety, beauty, and longevity of individual trees. Found a 30-year-old box of memories, saw your picture, read your postcards, first knew you as a sapling, beautiful but uncultivated by human hands. Read your later letters, first love of a young birch, you dreamed of deepening your roots. You wanted me as your arborist. At first I resisted, you were so young, yet I could not withstand the beauty of your branches, the loveliness of your vibrant leaves. I saw the majestic tree you would become, but I didn't know how to cultivate, never learned how from my parents. I watered well, but pruned too much. I berated you for your languid growth, rebuked you for your lack of fruit. How odd and wicked to think trees are flawed to grow in their own time. You were one of the few trees back then who uprooted and walked away. Impressive. Last week, messaged you online. Silence. I'm 29 years too late. Boom. And this is another one where I was at fault. Hurt and hope. Yelled at you today. Shame shoves me in jail. Mind grows self-consumed. Am I built to fail? Hurt all those I love. Unintended cuts. Stillborn soul pollutes. I'm the king of muck. I confess control's been my drug since birth. Its needle sticks my heart, injects short-term self-worth. Hope departs each day, guilt attacks at night. Father, help me heal the heart I've cast aside. Jesus, you respond, bid your spirit come. She implants reprieve. I awake, your son. But I want more than grace. I thirst to be transformed, safe for closest kin, live without my thorns. God, your love rolls down like a waterfall, washes off my mud. Conscience learns to crawl. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Randy. Let's hear it loud and strong for Randy Fowler. Okay. Moving right along, this next feature is someone I met last year at a writers' conference in Oregon. A lovely woman, a lovely poet. I'm so happy to see her face again. Joanne Brown's first poetry collection, Independence Day, reflects her coming of age during the scourge of the 1950s McCarthy-era blacklists. It was a finalist for the 2025 New Mexico Book Award. She is an Amherst Writers and Artists instructor offering a workshop, Write to Heal, for cancer patients and survivors. Joanne lives and is coming from Santa Fe, New Mexico. Help me welcome Joanne Brown.
Am I on? Yeah. Okay, good. Well, thank you, Maggie. Thanks to Maggie and Chip for hosting. I'm glad to be here. I hope that some of you at least got to go to the No King's Day rally and are here decompressing a little bit with poetry. So I also want to just apologize. There are a lot of allergens floating around New Mexico today. I have a little bit of a cough and a frog in my throat, so I hope my voice holds out. We'll see. I'm going to start by reading from the first part of my book, Independence Day. And as Maggie said, it reflects my experiences growing up as a red diaper baby. We called ourselves red diaper babies. We were children of parents who were either members of the U.S. Communist Party or sympathetic to its aims in the 1950s. And I want to just give a little bit of a background to some of these poems. So, members of the U.S. Communist Party in those days, contrary to what the governmental powers would have people think, were not trying to overthrow the government by violent means. They were intellectuals, they were civil rights advocates, they were union organizers, and they wanted to make the world a better place for all people, and they thought socialism had something to offer. But Senator Joe McCarthy whipped up fear. Picture the 1950s version of masked ICE agents. These were men in fedoras and trench coats coming to our door. And he paved the way for government blacklists, which ruined many lives and careers, including my father's. So Mark Twain's quote, "History doesn't repeat itself, but it often rhymes," has a ring of truth. But I think what we're seeing today goes a lot further than those dark days of the 50s. It is, in my opinion, authoritarianism. Anyway, the first poem is about the effects of the blacklist on my father and me. My father worked for the FDA, and back then, if you were blacklisted by the government, you could never get your job back, and no one else would hire you. So some people in despair took their own lives. My father, who was not a member of the Communist Party, but blacklisted anyway, a month before I was born, started a pest control business, and he was not a happy camper. So this first poem is In America, You Can Be a Bounty Hunter, Baltimore, 1965. The poem begins with an epigraph. It is a letter from the Federal Security Agency to Martin Brown, my father, May 1950. The board has received information to the effect that reasonable grounds may exist for belief that you are disloyal to the government of the United States. Specifically, the charges and the evidence relating thereto are as follows. 1, that you are a member of the Communist Party. 2, that for the past several years you have associated with individuals whom evidence in our file indicates are members of the Communist Party or Communist Party sympathizers. My father stands at the bottom of the basement stairs, overalls, stained by insecticides, smelling of burnt matches and rotten eggs, covered in filth from floors where he knelt last night and crawled, flashlight in hand, to kill mice. Someone named his name. His face dull with the ache of rage, he does not ask if I watched a good show on TV last night. He does not wish me a good day at Western High School. This is our livelihood now, studying best poisons for cockroaches. His Phi Beta Kappa framed idols on Grandma Libby's tenement wall. Listen, he says, as I turn from the stairwell. Why should you get to choose your life? You weren't supposed to be born anyway. He was angry. The next poem is a pantoum, which is an ancient Malaysian poetic form, and it recalls FBI visits to our home when I was a baby. These visits were meant to harass and to encourage people to name names of those suspected of disloyalty to the government. So I was a baby. The poem is constructed from things my mother told me and my own muscle memories of fear and my imagination of what took place. It's called First Taste. First Taste, Baltimore, 1952. Two men in trench coats and fedoras at the front door. Mother in bib apron coming in from the garden, baby pink flannel astride her hip. FBI badges flash, may we come in? Mother in bib apron just in from the garden, pulls me close, muscles tensing. May we come in? 1 foot in the door. She backs up to hide the bookshelves, pulls me closer, muscles tensing. I reach a hand forward, smiling. She backs up to hide the bookshelves, says to the hats, I have nothing to say to you. I smile, reach a hand forward. She slaps the door shut. I have nothing to say to you. Like a slap to my face, I startle. The slap to the door, my face in her bosom, a smell in my throat. Like a slap to my face, I cry. She sinks into the armchair, hand on her mouth. My face in her bosom, smell in my throat. She in bib apron, me in pink flannel. Her hand over her mouth. Men in trench coats and fedoras at the front door. And here is a poem about my mother. Are we having a good time? These are a little dark. And here is a poem. There'll be some lighter ones a little later. It's a poem about my mother who had her own trials and tribulations during that very difficult time and during my father's unemployment during the blacklist. It's called The Strainer. You stood at the counter rolling beef in cabbage leaves, your back to me. I could not find you then. I touched your hand, the gold filigree on your fourth finger, when you lay lifeless, 3 a.m. Slipped it off, carried it and the yellow roses through the revolving door. They called you Rose. I called you Mom. I see my face so like yours. I could not find you then. You at your kitchen window, your plants spilling into each other's pots like a collective of socialists. Your opinions on everything, political, not personal. I fumble your kitchen drawer, find rubber bands, clipped coupons, a 1940 blue leather diary, June through November, missing. Your tea strainer, mesh cup, roses painted on metal, tarnished now. Once I arrived at the Miami airport in a fluorescent, faceless crowd. Joe, you called, pulling me to you. Your softness like egret down, your lilac scent. And the next three poems, if I have time for three, reflect my movement beyond the personal and national trauma of that time. It was my move, if you will, toward independence. That's the title of my book. And my own hunt for peace, beauty, and spirit. My travels to Oaxaca, Mexico, were a kind of transformative experience for me, and I've visited many times in the last 30 years, though in my visit last month, I noticed too many tourists and a kind of sad degradation of the culture. But I'm going to read you my joy, my very happy place. Called Ode to Oaxaca. I trip your quake-thrown sidewalks to the thrum of boom boxes in Benito Juarez Market, wander lost in your labyrinth of dried chilies, jumble of market bags. I take cerveza, a ham and cheese torta, under El Jardin's portal while marimbas play the Pinotepa Nacional. Lays under your laurels to the staccato of La Sandunga. O storehouse of charm, where else in the world do campesinos compete to carve radishes the size of pumpkins? Where else do alchemists turn cochineal bugs to crimson dye, weave lightning from sheep's wool. Here are the abuelas, wrapped in aprons embroidered with lilies, braids ablaze with ribbons. Here, a revelation at each corner, a brass funeral march, a wedding, a quinceañera. Nuestra Señora de la Soledad, soul sister, I sat in your shadows, weak and small. While on your sun-slicked plaza, children flew with kites. And on a balmy evening, men, patriotic tears brimming, hats to heart, bowed to native daughter Susana singing Dios nunca muere. City of 17 tongues, cemetery of the laughing dead, jewel of the Sierra Madre, colossal crater of coxcombs and marigolds, ageless bastion of beauty. Your pipes won't take toilet paper. The shower always a slow drip. Fast food, mezcal bars, stray dogs, careening cars clog your ill-tempered streets. Oh, city of creative destruction, maker of milagros, ancient steps rising to a raucous moon. And this poem was inspired by news of the thousands of species going extinct. The first line in the poem owes to the poet Larry Levis in his poem, There Are Two Worlds. What is holy? Perhaps the ankle of a horse is holy, the 270-degree rotation of an owl's neck, bumblebee of blueberries and squash, elephant's exquisite grief, my grief, turtle hatchling sprinting for her life, 5,000-year-old baobab where village elders settle differences, blooming in moonlight, blue whale crooning to her newborn calf, raven showing wolf where to feast. In the days of the Judah kings, Isaiah said, one called to another, holy, 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 the whole earth is full. He tried to tell them, but God said they would not hear, and that the people would be exiled and their land become a desolate waste. Today in Santa Fe, 4 towy nestlings in the flower pot under the umbrella plant, a lounge of whiptail lizards on my patio, a monarch. And I think, do I have time for one last one? I think so. Yes. Okay. This is, I don't have any background for it. It's called July 4th with my new husband and a couple of friends. I married 3 years ago, and my second marriage, and this is written on July 4th. Married a month, not sure I can stand the heat. Not that heat, this heat, 100 degrees today. Sunrise after late night thunder, blue eyes terrified. Our border collie ran into my closet, cowered under hanging blouses. On my early morning walk before the heat, a coyote pup in the arroyo spies me, turns tail. Where does she hide? 4 friends at our kitchen table share a banana split, chocolate and vanilla ice cream, chocolate and salted caramel sauce, walnuts, whipped cream, 1 dish, 4 spoons, swoons of satisfaction. Rose of Sharon in full bloom, cantilevered umbrellas shelter from the heat. We say it never was this bad. Over breakfast cereal and summer peaches, Rod and I say we are the last generation to enjoy normalcy. A neighborhood realtor plants an American flag in our yard. It waves in hot wind. I wonder if we are patriotic, can we create justice from ungovernable grievances? Burgers on brioche, lettuce, tomato, ketchup, goat cheese, not American, Negro Modelo. We sleep with windows closed, AC on. What of those without air? Watermelon salad with feta cheese, a few last monarchs on the butterfly bush. What can abide? Love, love that heat. Thank you.
Let's hear it for Joanne Brown. Wonderful, Joanne. Thank you so much. Is our third poet here? Yes. Oh, good. Okay. Takudzwa Chikepe, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, known as VaChikepe, the poet, was born in Zimbabwe, is a globally recognized poet, preacher, mystic, and creator. He graduated Duke Divinity School and is currently pursuing an MBA. His work combines African wisdom, Christian spirituality, and contemporary thought into powerful performance. He is founder of the Sailor's Review and the visionary behind Business Mysticism, a movement redefining creativity, leadership, and purpose in the 21st century. Help me welcome him. Woo!
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. It's a great honor being here. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes.
All right, thank you. It's a great honor. Yes, my name is Takudzwa Chikepe, famously known as VaChikepe the poet. I enjoy being here so much. I think this is the second time or so coming here. And I love poetry so much. I've been writing poetry for 20 years. So I started writing poetry when I was 19. And poetry defines a lot for me. The first poem that I'm going to read today is entitled The Few and the Invisible. I wrote it today in the morning from a dream. It's called The Few and the Invisible. Enjoy. It didn't take many people to change this world. It took a few people. The rest were spectators, supporters, victims, and beneficiaries, just to name a few. From my limited brain, I would say that in Africa, it took a few families coming together to create communities, societies, clans, kingdoms, and even empires. We have seen it all. And then it took a few missionaries and colonizers to destroy all of this, maybe including the ancient Carthage that was destroyed by the destruction of Carthage in 146 BC by the Roman Empire. and more ancient empires that existed before ink was discovered, before paper was discovered, and before different histories were written on stones, rocks, and mountains. It is as if power is with the individual, even as the individual is also powerless. The question becomes, who are you? Are you an individual, or you are the population? Are you a powerful individual, or you are a powerless population? What then becomes the role of a poet? What is a poem? Why do we need poets? Where are these poets? What is the future of poetry? Someone once said this world is moved by the few who are moved by the invisible, a doorway to the unseen thoughts. Or maybe I am speaking of unity in fragments, reality versus the unknown. It is as if poetry begins where language fails, just as mysticism begins where poetry fails. How can we live in a realm of wisdom where we live by holding opposites together? What is the future of poetry? I keep asking myself. There is a lot going on in this world. There is a lot going on in this world. And what are we going to do about it? Thank you. My second poem is called Gods. I wrote this poem called Gods with a capital letter G when I was still at Duke. And some of my classmates, they felt they were not comfortable with my poem. And some thought it was heretic because it was supposed to be small letter G. But I love this poem so much. Gods, capital letter G-O-D-S. It reads, the fear in my heart is not a joke. It is reality deposited in its fullness from within. The reality of life, the depth of meaning, and an immediate reminder to always be alert. Being at the right place at the right time. Carrying divine messages from one person to another and hearing God speaking through us all. To say God is public, that is a heavy dosage of faith. That is sometimes mixed with lies, fabrications, assumptions, wishes, desires, systems, and sustainabilities. Losing ourselves in the process and creating a new God after all. No one wants a private God. Public gods we have, and in abundance. With all our efforts, we avoid being in contact with God, fully satisfied with the idea that we are with God. Make sure that God doesn't come through that door because everything will be changed, shouts the voice of our conscious being. The private God is avoided as if we have imprisoned ourselves. And if it were possible, by now we would have imprisoned the private God. No one wants the private God. The private God is too conscious. Avoid the private God at all costs. We tell each other and teach each other from a tender age. And we end up not knowing who God is, only left with an idea of who God is, only left with the type of God we want for all our situations, a type of God we can put in our pockets like car keys, a type of God we wish to synchronize with our DNA so that one day we wake up as little gods. There is a fight going on. And if we are not careful as humanity, we might be found on the wrong side of the equation. And to make matters worse, the private God keeps on appearing time and again without an invitation, without our invitation and without your invitation. And this is our fear. This is our most frightening fear. God coming into our house uninvited. God coming into your life uninvited. What a fear. Fear has been placed upon our lives. Deep fear has been placed upon our lives, and we are going to run away from it. Are we? Should we? Will we? Or we are going to become one with fear, the real meaning of life bestowed within us. In fear, you are fierce, and face it. My last poem for today is called Thoughts. When I look at life, sometimes I see that even problems, some of the problems that we get into, or some of the achievements, it's all about thoughts. So there was a time when I wrote 2 poems about thoughts. This is one of the poems when I was thinking deep about thoughts. It reads, thoughts. It all starts with thoughts, silent leaders of our being, bricklayers of destiny unseen, creating ways in the depth of our minds. Pay attention to these whispers that shape our days, to these voices that sculpt our dreams, and to these storms that roar within the chambers of our heart. Know these thoughts, for they are not mere shadows passing, but rivers of life sharing life to the living, mountains giving birth to heavens unseen. Discern them, discern these thoughts, good thoughts like seeds, they give us everlasting life. But beware, I tell you, beware of the weeds, suppressed thoughts, broken and brittle, oppressed thoughts, caged and silenced. Beware of this wind, I say beware. Slow thoughts, crawling like the slowest crawler, repressed thoughts, shocked by fear, confused thoughts, spinning in void, each crying for freedom, each craving for light. Listen, listen to your thoughts, not to every echo of the wind from the strange thoughts, but the melody of wisdom that comes from within. The drumbeat of clarity and guidance. Listen to your thoughts, a bright future stronger than all your fears, away in the desert where there is no path, milk and honey flowing towards you, the full emancipation of your spirit, domesticated by the full syllabus of knowledge and saturated by full understanding. Listen to your thoughts today. Listen to your thoughts this month. Listen to your thoughts this year. Listen to your thoughts next year. And listen to your thoughts all the days of your life. Because Your thoughts hold the keys to who you were, holds the keys to who you were meant to be and what you are. Your thoughts are your light to your becoming, because the whole world is waiting for you, than your soul to be feasted on. No to mental slavery, Bob Marley denied, because your thoughts are the freedom of your soul. Set your soul free until you know your spirit. Set your soul free until you know yourself. Behind your soul, your reality awaits. Behind your soul, that is where you live. And we say no to prisons of our souls, in our minds, in our thoughts, thoughts, thoughts. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Oh, wow. What a moving afternoon of poetry. Please help me thank our features today. And thank all of you for being here and everybody on Zoom for being here. We're going to move into the open mic, and Chip is going to take over that. Okay, Chip.
All right. What powerful features. Thank you so much, Randy. And thank you so much, Joanne. And thank you so much, my brother, Takudzwa. If you have not seen the Sailors Review magazine, oh, you just got to see it. You just got to get it. Okay, so the first up on the open mic is Steve Bordigan. Let's give it up for Steve here at the Free Public Library in Riverhead.
Hey guys. Hey, Mr. Chip. Hey everybody. So real quick before I read this piece, just one quick quote from one of my mentors, Ralph Waldo Emerson, about today. Conscious utterance of a thought by speech or action to any end is art, which I believe we have to take forward today in our hearts, because if you choose today in your mind, we're not going to get anywhere. Community is what it's about. Love is the answer, not hate. So this is from a piece that I wrote just recently. I tend to go dark. It's just the way it is. I'm sorry. Hold on. Sorry. Okay. I guess at a certain age, you can't escape the places that you've been, the things that you've done. You can only kind of either let them metastasize or take care of them. So my writing and my published work and means everything to me. Words are the only kind of communication that I believe is worth listening to. This is called Seasons and Battlefields. I wrote it at 3 o'clock in the morning about 4 weeks ago. Those of us who understand PTSD of any kind will understand this. The seasons die in slow motion, each one collapsing into the next, like a tired animal folding its legs beneath itself. I feel its aging in my bones. Oh, and the wrong glasses on my face. So sorry. I apologize. The seasons die in slow motion, each one collapsing into the next like a tired animal folding its legs beneath itself. I feel its aging in my bones, an ache that isn't pain so much as recognition. Winter's whisper lingers in the corners of my mind, even as the sun rises earlier, insisting I behold its small, stubborn miracles. There are mornings when the light touches me so gently, as if it remembers who I used to be. Other days slicing through my windows like a verdict. Love has been a battlefield in all the human forms it has possessed throughout my life. At first, I entered unaware. Then, knowing its apathy, I entered yet again, not naive, yet willingly unarmed. Willing its eagerness to be enough to sustain me through my emptiness. Sometimes it did, and sometimes it did not. How can one such as me utter a word of battlefields without understanding first that triumph knows nothing of battles? Triumph comes to me in a flat line, in the aftermath of some quest, some self-satisfying journey, looking for its own pulse, thinking us both dead. Sometimes it slithers quietly in dark corners, as if embarrassed to be seen, fearing it might display an unpleasant side of itself to some if confronted on its wrong merits. Me? I gnaw at it, ripping away at its very flesh, stealing all parts and pieces that I can grasp. Sometimes my thievery rewards me with a brief and steady inhale, possibly moments of peace without dread. A small pause to watch the world soften for a single heartbeat before the sympathy that life contains returns. I've taught myself that it's possible to keep going even when my map is burning, even when my compass spins like a drunk. In these moments, I scream into the void that is the vestiges of what's left of my beloved being. It is okay not to be okay. It is okay not to be okay. There exists in me a valley that splits my soul in two. And though the darkest parts of my descent to its bottom, there is a splintered yet living light that haunts me. It seeks a way in. It is a thin, trembling little thing, but it is real. Proof that even broken things, such as we, can still glow. I walk in 7 decades of dust, carrying battlefields of every single season of my past. I am clay. I am living. I am a dying thing, reworked, reborn, and ever-changing, knowing the sun with its silly, stubborn little miracles will rise whether I want its promise or not. Thank you.
Steve, I know exactly how that feels when you have the wrong glasses or don't have your glasses at all. It's not a good place to be. Yeah. So we're here to welcome our friend Vinny Colon. He's the host of Book and Mortar, first Tuesdays in Mount Sinai. Oh, man. Give it up for Vinny.
Thank you. Thank you. I don't know. Can you hear me? Is this mic even on? Book and Mortar is in Mount Sinai. I run an open mic there. A few of you may know Jen Semp. She's the feature for April 7th, the first Tuesday. So Book and Mortar, Mount Sinai, the first Tuesday, always the first Tuesday, and Jen Semp is the feature for this month. 10,000 twigs. It's like 10,000 twigs upon my chest, having to race when you just want to rest. Running around, you're going nowhere, going in circles, poking the bear. A twig's not a heavy thing when weighed on its own, but add another 9,900 and it feels like a mountain of stone. The twig's the thought or worry or fret, the thing on your mind you mustn't forget. It keeps you awake and won't let you sleep, and nothing works, not even sheep. Into the shadows, the worries, they creep. The devil's in the details compounding the myth. The bottom of the tree is 10 times the width. Twigs that have fallen a ring at the base, and each one creates an unequal space. I feel like I'm perpetually tied to the ground by 10,000 small chains, like a discarded stuffed animal left out in the rain. The branches intertwine, form a line in the sand. Little people gathered, strike up the band. It keeps you awake and won't let you sleep. And when nothing works, not even the sheep, the pressures mount as the worries they heap. It's like 10,000 twigs laid on my chest. And this isn't a metaphor, haven't you guessed? They're trying to get me. I've seen them again, coming for me because they think I'm insane. They're boring their holes, getting closer each day. So while the sun is still out, my friend, let us make hay. And we've got to get this wood off of us before the dry stack is ignited with phosphorus and we're set asunder under this pile of worries, stoking the horrors, sorrows, and furies. It keeps you awake and won't let you sleep. Nothing works, not even sheep. And to the silence it speaks. It's like 10,000 twigs upon my chest. The uneasy feeling of cresting waves amid mountain peaks. The stress is insane. I'm losing my hair. And as you look around, no one seems to care. No one seems to notice. It's like watching a screen, and you exist in the ether and live mostly unseen. And nothing works, not even the sheep. And into the shadows it perpetually creeps. The pressure it mounts, the worries still heap. And miles to go before we sleep. And miles to go before you sleep. Thank you.
And I think that's from the old wooden bench.
Published by J.R. Turek.
And J.R. Turek is going to be next. And before I bring J.R. on, let me just tell you, J.R. Turek is the hardest working woman in poetry history, hands down, I think. Okay, 10 toes down. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for J.R. Turek as she writes a poem a day at least. J.R. Turek.
Thank you, Chip. Thank you, features. What I could say to VaChikepe and Joanne and Randy. Wonderful. Thank you, Maggie. Thank you, Chip. And thank you, Claire, from manning us on Zoom. So I'm reading from my newest book. These are kind of like my community poems. And this was written this day, March 28th of 2023. You'll get the theme. 24 karat. As if touched by Midas, March sunrise tiptoes over the horizon in a honey blonde rays, glimmering in the far-off distance, off diamond-capped peaks, like Tiffany settings, yellow and white, silvered, glittered, usher in a new, it's golden day. Azalea bushes wear elaborate necklaces of dewdrops, dripping liquid pearls to daffodil petals. They wear like earrings that dangle and drop to quench an earthworm thirsting for God's golden finger to orchestrate spring's arrival. Panning for fool's goal on a field of goldenrod, finches tumble from butterfly bush to rose cane in Olympic gold fashion. Retrievers, lambs, golden doodles frolic through sunflower stalks, the glory of a golden, delicious gold rust, gold dust afternoon. A 14-karat heart, a 14-karat golden heart pendulums from a Hallmark card. Happy 50th. He smiles the smile of 1,000 suns, wears his heart of gold on his sleeve, descends to bended knee, proposes again. She says yes, again and again. He is her lucky pot of gold, she his golden goose, value beyond measure. They relish their home on Long Island's Gold Coast, 1920s glamour and 2020s retirement. She bakes him golden brown cookies, pours his favorite ale in a frosted mug, her tea steeping in candle glow as they swing on the back porch, painted liquid yellow light falling like a satin veil, stars twinkling their names, golden sunset glows like highlighter on her cheeks. The one he nuzzles, kisses again and again, golden oldies play from the radio, and they dance cheek to cheek before golden slumber. Thank you.
Thank you so much, JR. Next, all the way from Shelter Island via Zoom, Virginia Walker.
Muted here. Thank you, Chip. And I did unmute myself. I think I did that right.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to take us back a bit because spring seems to be here, but this is called End of February. The dreary end of February always disappoints, revealing in a hazy lens the nakedness of all. The woods filled with fallen branches, trees half canted. The covering leaves have compacted, and debris is everywhere, all rotten. The heart awaits spring, but the air is snow-scented, and even the rain that descends annoys because it is not the snow that should have fallen. This is limbo, land with wraiths of green desires, condemned to abstain from joy.
Thank you so much, Virginia. And now we have Rose Savone Taylor.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. So good to be here. First, I want to apologize to the features. I was not able to sit in on every poem that you read because I'm having work done. I had to go in and out. So, but thank you, Chip and Maggie and Claire. This piece I'm going to read to you was actually written as a prose back in September of 2024. And then this year I turned it into a poem, and it's been published in Dawn Horizon by Local Gems Press. New beginnings. We are ready for new beginnings, a new era, one that is decent, peaceful, where we all prosper, not just a few. I am ready for a new beginning, one where we make our voices heard instead of sitting on the sidelines, not wanting to cause strife. It's time for new beginnings of all kinds, not just politically, but as humans living on this earth that is slowly dying because of our greed and not paying attention except to our own little world. It's time to awaken, to stop spewing blame, hatred, and fear, and get back to a time where morals and honesty, compassion, kindness all meant something. I don't know the answer. How do we get back to that? Were we ever really there? Was the world ever truly peaceful, or was it all a figment of our longing? Whatever it was, a new beginning must be for ourselves and the next generation who is looking to us, the elders who've come before them. They are hungry for direction and answers, for boundaries, healthy boundaries, built out of respect and mutual caring. I truly believe that the upcoming generation is not interested in walls, but bridges to a better future. Is it possible? I hope so. It all starts with us. Let us be the force of bringing about new beginnings, new hope. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rose, for that. We're going to come back to the room and we're going to ask Warren McKnight to please come up and read for us. Let's give it up for Warren. Keep it going for Warren. That's right.
There are three things I keep on hearing from every one of you. The three things and what's going on all over. Be kind, be kind, be kind. the kindest first lady and president of this country was Eleanor and Franklin Roosevelt. And they were kind. They were very kind. Eleanor, just as a woman, no power, went to the United Nations and made them declare basic human rights in the world. Franklin Roosevelt said, there are 4 basic freedoms. One of free speech, one is the right to worship as you want, one is to be freedom from want, which we can't. I look around Riverhead, I see people with bags, they have no homes, people waiting in lines for food and shelter. Somebody told me, well, I live in one room, I pay $1,500 and there's no windows. So that's what you have to take care of. And, and last, freedom from fear. We have all these people like, who threaten people, take them away without due process of law. The only thing I could say is be kind, be kind, be kind. And the only thing I hear from our leaders is that they are not kind, they are not kind, they are not kind.
Give it up for Warren. And next, we're going to have our very own Maggie Bloomfield. Give it up for Maggie. Come on now. You can do better than that. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. I have to take a moment to thank Claire, who, without her, we could not do this. Let's thank, here's the Claire Wonder. This poem is called Wars. It's a villanelle. It's a second version of another poem. A villanelle has a pattern of repeating lines. Wars. In Tehran, the buildings crumble. In Tehran, the buildings tumble. Children lie strewn like long dead leaves. Mothers and fathers weep and crumble. Blonde old woman, out I stumble into a country that I grieve. In Tehran, the buildings tumble. Our leaders' moves are all a jumble, yet some continue to believe. Mothers and fathers weep and crumble. Some there were who took the gamble and loyally to him they cleave. In Tehran, the buildings tumble. Ice, dark cars begin to rumble. Gunned down citizens' last breaths heave. Mothers and fathers weep and crumble. There are those who sit and bumble with lies imagination weaves, while in Tehran, the buildings tumble. Mothers and fathers weep and crumble. Thank you.
Maggie, that was beautiful. Thank you so much. From Sag Harbor, my sister, Laura Tucker.
Hi. Wow, this is so wonderful. I'm like, really, I'm so glad to take my last Saturdays like this. It's good food for thought. My poem I just wrote, and I'm not going to say much, I'm just going to read it. The sign I saw while marching for no kings. It's to the rhythm of supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Super callous, fragile, racist, sexist, Nazi POTUS. Someone put that on a sign, and I had taken notice. While we marched on No King's Day, protesting his huge grossness, this super callous, fragile, racist, sexist Nazi poet, POTUS. Second verse, not the first. Super callous, fragile, racist, sexist Nazi POTUS spews lies and hatred through political halitosis. Pathological narcissist who pouts when he's not noticed. This super callous, fragile, racist, sexist Nazi POTUS. Third verse rhymes with the first. Super callous, fragile, racist, sexist Nazi POTUS. As the sign moved down the street, I copied its verboseness. Maybe I will make a poem and then I'll go and post it about the super callous, fragile, racist, sexist Nazi POTUS. Thank you.
Wow, 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 wow. Now that was a mouthful. Thank you so much for that, Laura. We're going to come back here and ask Nina Yabel to please come up and read. Nina Yabel is on our Poetry Street on the Road, the film, and we're so happy to have her here. Nina Yabel, can I help you?
Thanks. Okay. Didn't know what to read today, and then this came to me, called Los Alamos. Nearby, a place of higher pines, mesa, sculpted hills, rocks, seated gods or goddesses, or maybe Navajo. Leaves have turned to gold trinkets glittering in the blue afternoon. Ghosts move in and out, pock-marked shadows, faces on the cavern walls. This was once a holy place, where the spirit danced with eagles beneath a turquoise sky. Clans of Hopi began and ended their migrations. Kachinas came down from stars, flowing from the Pleiades to Arabi. Now black masks stare up from the arroyo. Nothing stirs except boughs of spruce. Once the gods worked red clay, shaped men from the imagination. Now men fashion the infinite, shape gods from dust.
Give it up for Claire. Nina Yabel, that was wonderful. Thank you so much. Russ Green, man, it is so good to see you. Yeah, are you going to read for us today? All right, let's give it up for Russ Green, everyone. Wow, we missed him. He's only been gone for a couple of days. No, actually longer than that, but we miss him so much. Russ Green.
Just for you.
Give him a hug.
And Maggie too.
Yeah.
And Nina. And all of you. Okay, so wow, there's like a whole thing going on back here. Cool. Okay. Yeah, I have a No King's Day poem, but I'm not going to read it because a good old friend of mine, I found out he just passed the other day, and I haven't seen him in a few years. He's one of those people that is just like the salt of the earth, like that Billy Joel song, Only the Good Die Young. Yeah, Dave DeMond, but everybody knows him just as Dave. Anybody that's ever lived in Northport for any amount of time, I don't know how many years you've been in Northport. Did you know Dave? Dave DeMond. Well,
I left the reading for a minute, and that was to get a piece of tape so that I could put Dave's picture up here. So I'm going to put Dave's picture up here. Now you know Dave. I know there are a lot of people, on the list, so I don't want to go on and on explaining who Dave was and still is somewhere. But he was very, very, very beloved in the Northport community. I went to Stop and Shop once with Dave, and you'd think I was walking through Stop and Shop with Elvis. I mean, we couldn't get down an aisle without 3 people in every aisle saying hello to Dave. He was a musician and a very wise person and just a very sweet soul. And he used to hang out with us a lot when we used to have a poetry reading going on at Cafe Portofino. There's a Cafe Portofino there now, but it has nothing to do with the original Cafe Portofino. It was gutted, and it's a whole different place now. But I wrote a love poem to Northport about 20 years ago because we had just a really great scene going there many years ago. The poets and the musician friends and our artist, visual artist friend, all kinds of our opera friends, and there's of course the history of Jack Kerouac there. So I'm reading this poem in honor of my dear old friend Dave. It's called Under the Northport Sky. Sunset saturated sky over the watery end of Main Street. Blinker light blinks its response. Northport yellow over parallelness of trolley tracks defiantly displaying its echo of Oysterman days and Kerouacian nights, modeling of charismatic naked branches sequined in white light lining flexed muscles for little Miss Moonlight poking out from her fancy gray cloud cover, holding on to the afterglow of the season of hope and reconciliation, mania and manic depression. Caffeine blues kicking in the Portofino night, coffee shop Dave's holding up those bohemian walls while occasional ray lights the way on those old worn and wise piano keys that used to be white back in the day, way, way back when a cup of coffee was a nickel and a gentleman would tip his hat to a lady in her perfectly pleated, sexy but not too sexy white frilled dress as they passed on small town America's clean swept sidewalk. If this concrete street could talk, I'd marry it, curl up in the middle and whisper sweet nothings into her tracks. Thank you. Here's to you, Dave.
Thank you so much, Russ. And we appreciate you. And our condolences. Okay, so the next poet is going to be featured next month. Her name is Kim Brandon, and she's going to be featuring with Barbara Southern and Doug Sweezy for April. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it over for Kim. Welcome.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. Thank you for this opportunity. I am really loving this space. And I also want to apologize to the features. I had a conflict, and so I caught the last feature who was excellent. So I'm going to read this one poem, and it's dedicated to Toni Morrison. And in Toni's, in her novel Beloved, there's a slave woman who was the minister, and she would minister to the slaves every Sunday morning. And this poem is dedicated to her. There was before, and now there's only this right here. I was somebody once. Always, before I knows it, a feeling so strong comes over me, like they're gonna call me by my name, and I'm gonna whip around and remember and see them remembering them, remembering me, remembering a place, remembering a time, remembering the smell, a full stomach, a soft mat on the floor. I'm going to remember all that came in there before being stolen and ripped apart and left for dead. So when Baby Shook says for us women to weep, I was already weeping low like, deeper than all that wailing. That morning, I wish somehow she says for us women to laugh, laugh loud, laugh until my belly shook like blueberry jam. Because I got me this feeling, see? I got me this feeling that laughing might sound like my name. And if I heard my name, maybe I would remember the before, who I belonged to once when I belonged to a mama or somebody special. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Kim, and we look forward to you featuring next month. The next person on Zoom that we would like to bring forward is Kirk Lawson, and he is a wonderful poet and an incredible artist. Please give it for Kirk Lawson.
Hey there. Wow. Great stuff, everybody. Thank you so much. And I'm so glad I made it back from the city in time. I had a short one and a page. I hope that's okay. Let me know if it's not. This was written the morning of the first No Kings March, or I should say the country-wide one and the ones on Long Island. And I want to thank the poet that pointed out a little while earlier that October was also Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And it's a subject that has impacted my family, including my mother. And I felt that this coupled along perfectly with, excuse me, with the No Kings March. It was just after a ceasefire had started in Gaza, and the supporting media kept pushing this narrative that everything was okay and we should all be delighted. I don't know why my picture's blurry. I hope it's not on your. Anyway, this is called Domestic Violence, aka the Authoritarian Rag. He brought you roses. He brought you doves. So why not take him back with open arms? The bouquet is beautiful. Aren't you happy? Can you not celebrate his charms? So what if he yelled? So what if he scowled? Aren't the bruises healing? You can see out of one eye. Your rib, it's not as sore. His friends all say he's so appealing. So why not forgive him and let go of the past? They say what's done is done. He can keep you safe. Just submit and conform. And he won't even need the gun. Poem. And on a slightly lighter note, also being published in, I think, the same book that Rose mentioned. This is called Big Dreams Gone By. This was composed in early January. I used to dream big dreams and I planned for when, but I live in now, and that was then. Success and abundance and achievements galore. I'd have all I wanted and shared even more. But then the first of many bumps in the road when life took a turn like a big ugly toad. I have planned for the future, but I live in the past, hoping for triumph. But the time moves so fast. As a child, this summer would last a whole year. Now a couple warm weekends and autumn is here. As a child, school resumed in early September, Halloween in October, Thanksgiving November. Then the bastion of goodness, a season of cheer. often with snow when Christmas was near. We were taught to be good, and Santa kept track, not for school, but for presents in the jolly man's sack. Every year, like a slow leak, they market it more, and the holidays slip to the season before. Now the Halloween stores pop up in July, Thanksgiving a blip in the blink of an eye. Black Friday was a day after the feast. Now early Black Friday precedes it by weeks. They start Christmas music sometimes in September, and it gets repetitious before mid-November. Cyber Monday was another extravagant ploy when you ordered online if you wanted that toy to arrive before Christmas and go under the tree. It used to take 2 weeks, sometimes maybe 3. Now you order by midnight and it arrives by your door before your first drop of coffee hits your cup or the floor. When they start with clearance before the big day arrives, they truncate our joy and they shorten our lives. Who hasn't seen the Valentine hearts before your Christmas day even starts? You might think it's trivial to focus on this, but by blurring the seasons, it's the seasons we miss. Holiday time was once filled with bliss. Now it's like getting divorced before the first kiss. It's not waxing nostalgic. They're messing with time. So treasure your memories like I treasure mine. Not the BS that comes with your phone. A new memory from yesterday. Oh, leave me alone. To ponder and remember the dreams that I had with my brothers and sisters, my mom and my dad. When they're no longer with you, photos or not, you may find you hold on to the stories you've got. Composed as January slips away, perhaps I should think of Memorial Day. I may still plan for the future. I may still live in the past. But I can treasure my memories as long as they last.
Thank you so much for that, Kurt. I appreciate you. So now we're going to come back and we're going to ask my friend, one of the fathers of Poetry Street, Bill Batcher, to come up and read. Let's keep it going for Bill. Thank you.
This is called Backyard Theophany. Lord, help me listen to the sounds of spring. Tweetering birds at the feeder, chirping, chasing squirrels, buzzing wasps, fluttering new budding leaves. And may I recognize these as your voice. Attune me to the smells of spring. Lily, amaryllis, wild onion, skunk cabbage, gardens redug, farm fields dressed, sea breezes, and may I recognize these as your fragrance. And when my face feels sun warm, my bare arms cool, when I feel potting soil between my fingers, or a hose nozzle leaking on my wrist, remind me I've been touched by God. Thank you.
Okay, before I bring up this lady, I'm gonna read my poem because she always makes me cry. You know who you are. It is Women's History Month, and I like to acknowledge the women in my life. My mom, who I lost 24 years ago this week, and my sisters, Lanita, Deborah, and Carolyn. This is entitled White Flower. I wear a white flower upon my chest because this year my mother was laid to rest. I know I would never be the same, for she's gone and I remain, and I've never felt so much pain. I know she's in a better place, but I hurt because I can't see her smiling face. I can't touch her or talk with her anymore. If or when I'll see her again, I really don't know for sure. And I never felt so much pain. I often think about the day she was lowered in the ground. Although I see her and my sisters when they're around, she's in Lanita's face when she sits up in her bed, and in Carolyn's little feet, and the way she wraps her head. And in Deborah's walk, I see her, and I never felt so much pain. So this Mother's Day, I'll wear a white flower in honor of Mom. Despite the pain I feel now, I know I must still go on. Thank you. This next lady I met some time ago, and she breaks my heart every time she reads, so let's bring her up. Her name is Ala Amiatra, and I just messed up her name, and she's going to correct me. Ladies and gentlemen, please give her for Ala.
This one is called, can you hear me?
Say your last name.
Ala Amwachi. This one is called Sorry for the Messy House. Exactly how many minutes passed before the fire engines came? Maybe 10 or 20, maybe eternity. Enough to know nothing could be saved. Or maybe I am still waiting for those sirens to sound. Credibility is wrangling time, they say. Time can't be turned back. Time had ceased to matter, only the flames burning in my eyes. I'm in the fishbowl in my pajama pants, socks on the grass. I can't feel. My daughter in her Minecraft shirt, eating a neighbor's mac and cheese, still paralyzed. They gave me a hoodie, someone's slippers. They put a blanket on me, a paperweight for my spirit. It must be cold out here. They don't know what to say. It doesn't matter. They are television actors on mute, offering me Xanax and wine as though I can feel. But there are only the wind-swept flames raging in my ears and the heaviness of my body that escaped before my mind could catch up, still catching up. In the end, I sat on a stranger's couch. She talked about her son's college like life was normal. I said my sister goes to Villanova. Credibility is seared into my soul, but I don't have the measure of time. I did not have the words in her tongue when she said sorry for her messy house. I wish I had a messy house. Maybe this was 5 years ago, maybe yesterday. I only know the flames still burning in my eyes. Do you believe me now? Thank you.
Ala, I love you so much. Bring back Maggie. Okay, so we're gonna bring back our features. Yes. Okay. So Maggie's going to come first. Give it up for Maggie Bloomfield. Thank you so much. Everyone that participated on Zoom and here at the library, we appreciate you so much.
Ooh, what an afternoon. Thank you all so much. We're going to bring back the features to do one more poem, and let's begin with Randy Fowler.
By the way, I just wanted to say Allah is kind of a newish friend of mine and one of the women that I respect the most. She's a defense attorney for immigration, single mother of 3 in the meantime. So you're going to probably be hearing a lot more of her and her poetry. Restored beauty. I struggle because precision and specificity is a great part of the art of poetry, but these are 3 women that to protect them, I can't be as specific as I would like, and that me and my wife and I support. Restored beauty. You 3 are beautiful sculptures, as if crafted by Michelangelo, which storms have weathered and the selfish have slashed. You, a single mother of 3 teens, though a work of art, you were left outside in the rain, where storms beat down on you. Now redeemed, you sing a solo like the heavens appointed you. You work 3 jobs and volunteer more. You refuse to feel sorry for yourself and live in gratitude. You are who I admire. You, the mother of 2 teen daughters who were ripped away by a husband with connections, by a spouse who lied. You who have shed many tears and shared many aches in my wife's and my home. You who lift up those around you with your bubbly personality and do not hesitate to serve others. You are who I admire. You, the single mother of 1 child, you who long to be a professional poet, there's no greater beauty than the vulnerability you show. You've turned romantic wounds into truth-telling, compassion, even righteous hate. You have that radical courage to split yourself open in poetry, to perform surgery on the deepest cuts. You are who I admire. From a fellow scarred sculptor who is also under the master's restoration. And also, sorry, I want to give credit. This is taken from, modeled after Araceli Gourmet's poem, You Are Who I Love. Thank you.
Thank you, Randy. Next up, all the way from New Mexico, we're bringing back Joanne Brown.
Okay, there I am. You New Yorkers will recognize, or maybe everybody will recognize Woodstock in this poem. It's called We Were Pilgrims. We didn't plan ahead where we would stay. We didn't think about food. It was like, hey, this sounds cool. Let's get in the car and go. Traffic was stopped dead. The state highway was a parking lot. We got out of our cars, started talking to strangers and walking. We were pilgrims. They didn't finish putting up the fences. There were no ticket takers, no gates, almost 500,000 of us, and Richie Havens improvising a song called Freedom. Hamburgers were free, but we got hungry. Some got sick, some had a bad trip. Copters brought tens of thousands of boiled eggs from the townspeople and 45 army doctors. The security detail, Wavy Gravy, and the hog farm Please Force took care of the ones who were scared in freak-out tents, Thousands of campfires lit the farm. We saw stars, listened to music until the sun rose over the hill. But the sky turned angry. The storm could have hit the amplifiers, burned us all to cinders. We were against war. We thought if 500,000 kids could sit together peacefully, we could change the world. Then, swift as lightning, it was over. Just 600 acres of detritus, ghosts of young unbathed bodies, and the sound of bombs bursting in air, from Hendrix alone on stage playing the Star-Spangled Banner.
All right, Joanne. It's so good to see you again.
It's good to see you, Maggie.
And last but certainly not least, VaChikepe, the poet.
Yeah, thank you so much, Maggie. Thank you so much, Chip. It's always great being here. And many thanks for all the poets who read. I've been edified. The poem that I'm going to read is called Biting the Angel's Wing. Biting the Angel's Wings. This is the time I try to combine writing poetry, Christian poetry, and a little bit of philosophy. Yeah. Biting the Angel's Wings. God, God, God's promise, 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 God, God, God's promise. When the machine enters your dream life, the angel responsible for dreams is forced out. You see, sleeping was created by God to be a time of calibration and rest, and not a time of endless loops of thinking like a rat race. Some of you, if you are not careful, very soon you will be brain fried. This is colonization, mental colonization. The fruit has been heavily marketed, and we ate the fruit, and we are eating the fruit. You see, we have become naked, and we are becoming naked. We have become undressed. Our spiritual clothes have been chewed. Now we are left with these artificial wearings we call clothes. Up the ladder we have climbed. Close to the moon we have arrived. Moonwalking we desire, and very soon, like devils, we will fall down. Won't we? Who is in control? Who is controlling us? And how did we lose our control? When shall we be sober? We have accidentally become sober in our drunkenness. And now we are confused. We don't know what to do. Biting the angel's wings, we are not stopping. Chewing the angel's wings, we are not stopping. We refuse to be brain fried. Let us think less and love more. What do you do when you enter the strongman's house? You bind the strongman and toss it in fire. That is how you win your freedom back. Be free and never be brain fried again. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much, features. Thank you, audience. Thank you to the Wizard of Oz back here, Claire Lunger. Thank you to Chip and to the library again. I have a very important announcement. Chip Williford is the Suffolk County Poet Laureate currently, and he is announcing a 2026 anthology of Long Island Black poets. This is an announcement, a call for submissions. I'm not going to read the submission requirements, but there is an announcement here, and I'm sure that Chip has many more. So if you're interested, it's here. I thank you all for coming. Don't forget the community poem, one line. I offered a prompt, but you don't have to go with the prompt. You can use your own prompt. And again, thank you for a wonderful afternoon. Have a great weekend and come back next month.
And we really want to thank you so much. And I just want to let you know that the anthology is to honor Jupiter Hammond, who was the first African-American to publish, and he's from Long Island. So it's to honor him. And also because this is the 100th year of celebrating Black history. It started as Black History Week in 1926, and it turned into Black History Month. So please submit your poems. Thank you. Oh, yes. And the information is on Poetry Street first Facebook page. It takes a village up here. Thank you so much. And thank you so much on Zoom. And we'll see you next month.
Thank you all.
Thank you so much. Thank you.